on News Radio WFLA.
Hour number 3 of PM Tampa Bay on this Friday, March 6th. I'm Ryan Gorman, with me in studio, Reggie on the board. And right now we go to the hotline, and joining us we have Dr. Lisa Palmer, a psychotherapist, to talk a little bit about the psychological side of dealing with this coronavirus outbreak. Dr. Palmer, how are you?
Hey, good evening. Nice to join you on the show.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us tonight. So this is, I think, very interesting from a psychological perspective, watching how this country deals with this pandemic as it slowly begins to spread across communities. What do you tell people who aren't sure how concerned they should be? What would your advice be in terms of how they process all the information that's coming at them? I mean, this is, now 24/7. It's on cable TV. It's in the newspapers they read. We're talking about it here on this show. They're bombarded by it on social media, too. How do people process that and deal with it in a healthy way?
Well, obviously, it can definitely cause a traumatic response watching all the news about what's happening. And people can get panic and fear and all of the things that you were talking about. I know that I took a flight to New York recently, and I was wearing a mask and had hand sanitizer and sanitized everything. So I know that people are definitely taking precautions. I was actually surprised that there weren't more people walking around New York with masks on, considering how there's tickers everywhere on the news about this. And one of the things that I'm actually seeing on social media is people creating light about it. They do know the seriousness about it, but I think at the same time, they're trying to have a little laugh, and that's part of their coping mechanism, I think, as well, to try to ground themselves in the situation, because it is really scary to think that, money could be contaminated, just all these little things that you just slip your mind that it could, you go to a buffet and you eat something, you don't know what's in there, it could be anywhere. So you do have to take precautionary measures. But as I like to say, you have to stay grounded and balanced. Balance is my mantra. And it's my mantra whether or not there's coronavirus or not coronavirus. You want to be able to, live through that mantra and take care of yourself. And obviously do things that are grounding, such as maybe listening to a meditation or taking a walk or just taking a few deep breaths could really help you.
We're talking to psychotherapist Dr. Lisa Palmer about the psychological impact of the coronavirus outbreak. One thing that I know you've been keeping a close eye on is xenophobia. Groups of people getting stigmatized because of this. I had an example that I brought up this morning on the morning show of an individual in New York who Febrezed an Asian man on the train. I don't quite know what exactly he was going for, because that's an air freshener. I don't know, but we know what he was trying to do, I guess. And there are more and more of those instances popping up. What do you make of that? And is that something that you think we'll see more of as the outbreak continues to spread?
That's such a touchy topic, because I just hate the idea of anybody having any kind of prejudice towards somebody else. But when I pass by a lot of Chinese restaurants these days, I notice that they're empty. Yeah. And I've actually wondered about that. Are people afraid to go inside of these places because of the connection? I would think it would be affecting some of those businesses economically for sure.
Tell me a little.
It's sad for those businesses. It's definitely sad for those businesses, and I think the better people to interview about, their experience with that would be Asian business owners, and I think it would be a really good story to see what their perspectives were on that topic. But I would imagine that it would be very hurtful for them, difficult, that this is a real thing.
How does this particular issue, a pandemic like we're seeing, compare to other moments where the news might make people fearful or anxious? Is this different from, say, the financial collapse or different other major news events that impacted Americans?
Well, from my opinion, health is wealth, right? So if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And I know that when I'm not feeling good, it's like my whole world is collapsing because I'm not able to do the jobs and live out my purpose. So that's me. And so, like I said, health is wealth. So when you realize that you could shake hands with someone, kiss them on the cheek, touch money, touch anything, and get a cold that could kill you, right? It's frightening. It's really frightening because you can't see the germs. They're there, but you can't see them. Next thing you know, you have a cough or you're throwing up or you're not feeling good. It's like, what is going on? So you really feel like it creates paranoia.
Yeah, one of the things that I talked about recently on the show, we're expecting to have a pretty bad allergy season coming up, and I was kind of thinking ahead. I can only imagine what it could wind up being like if you've got a bad allergy season at the same time there's a coronavirus outbreak happening, and the minute somebody gets, a little bit of a scratchy throat, they have no idea, or a cough or something, they don't know what it is.
That will be me.
Yeah,
that
right?
That will be me. I can assure you that will be me. I'll be like, do I have coronavirus right now? No, I mean, it's not funny because literally that will be me thinking that. And it's frightening. And people do go crazy over these kinds of things, some more than others. Some people have more hypochondriacal reactions than others. But it's still frightening, the thought that you could die from this and that you still have unfinished business and work to do and purpose that you want to live out. And hey, if this happens to you, but you know what? Anything could happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid, there could be an accident or anything could happen, but it's just something about the fact of getting ill that really frightens a lot of people and really makes them think about death and all those things that we don't want to think about, especially on a Friday night, right? We're supposed to be out having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's a real thing. It really is a real thing. And I think, again, we have to go back to balance. And I really believe in prayer and staying in prayer and just also believing in the positive and trying to have faith that things will work out, and also being vigilant and doing what you have to do to be healthy. I like to do healthy activities because getting IV vitamin treatments and taking vitamins and supplements and exercising and eating healthy makes me feel like I'm doing something proactive toward balance and health. And I'm doing things that are in alignment with health. So even though we could be prone to not being healthy and germs, if we're doing activities that are in alignment with health, at least we're reinforcing the ideas that we're happy and also building our immunities up, which is so important. Taking those vitamins and minerals and eating well to build up our immunities. So that's all something that's really important, and sticking to the basics, getting enough sleep, being able to, have good support systems, being able to stay calm, all the things that really you should be practicing on a daily basis, maybe enhancing some of those things at a time like this, and then some with, of course, our lovely masks that a friend of mine sent to me in the mail today. I was like, where are these masks coming from? What is this? Literally like 10 masks arrived to me today.
And tell you something, those are valuable items these days. There's a lot of people looking for those kinds of things.
I know, you could sell them on eBay
Right.
for pretty expensive, right, these days. But hand sanitizer and all that jazz and masks. And
that was what I was going to ask you. I had one more question for you, and that was the public, the consumers going and buying these items, whether it's the cleaning supplies or the hand sanitizer, all that. Do you think that's more of a fearful response, or is that more of people trying to just be prepared, that type of response?
Maybe it's a both and
Yeah.
response.
Yeah.
Right? So they're trying to they are fearful and they are trying to be prepared. I don't think it's just one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But, everybody has their own different ways of coping. And I think that I know in some cultures, I know in my mother's culture, they love to use, Vicks. They use Vicks on everything.
Yeah,
so
right.
maybe they would be using Vicks over there. And this culture is using Windex over here. I don't know. But everybody has their own ways of coping. And I just think that washing your hands,
Oh, yeah.
talking a lot about that. I think I heard somewhere on the news today that you should be washing your hands for like a really long period of time.
20 seconds. Supposed to sing happy birthday.
Okay. 20 seconds. Yeah, so the people with OCD will be really happy about that because
Right.
it's giving them permission to do these things for a while.
Exactly. I've said all of a sudden my daily habits of Lysoling the studio when I come in, now it looks normal. Now now that's what everybody's doing. I've been preparing for this moment my whole life. I'm fitting in perfectly. Again, Dr. Lisa Palmer, psychotherapist, talking to us a little bit about dealing with the coronavirus outbreak. Dr. Palmer, thank you so much for the time this evening. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right. We'll talk to you again real soon.